Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Waking Up Proud on WSJS. Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. The morning show that's always on the prowl.
Make way for the king.
This is Waking Up Proud with Stephen Beck.
The Atlanta Falcons have handed the Panthers another gift on their convoluted expedition to try to make the playoffs and win the NFC South. There's really no way that they can screw this up now, right? Or is there? Welcome into Waking Up Proud. I am Steven here on WSJS. Thanks for being with us this morning. Great show headed your direction, and throughout it, you can stream it live on X and also on YouTube. On YouTube, if you search Proud Sports, you have a live feed there, or on X at Stephen Beck PS. And all the time, if you're interested in things like we're talking about here today, then you can find those on ProudSports.com. Today, we have a couple of great guests, including a story that I feel like is a must listen, a must know about here in the Triad. And it's about a young man by the name of Trooper Wright. So look forward to that coming up this hour. Also, we're going to hear more from a conversation we had with President of High Point University, Dr. Nito Quabain. And I'll tell you now, I stand with Lane Kiffin. So if you have thoughts on that throughout today's show, then I encourage you to take part by texting in if that's more comfortable for you, and go ahead and put this in your contacts list. The number is 336-347-9807. And I know that's like a super strange combination of digits there, but actually, Waking Up Proud, name of the show, the digits 9807. If you just add a 0 in there, it's whoop. Waking Up Proud. That's how creative we are here on a Saturday morning, where we're getting started with our Foster Hobbs coffee, and I hope that you're doing the same. But let's get back to the Carolina Panthers for a second. They've got a big day ahead of them. And as a fan, I am a fan. I am excited about seeing their game this afternoon. With the Atlanta Falcons win over the LA Rams, though, on Monday night, that game 27-24, the Panthers now have two paths at actually making the playoffs. They hold their own destiny in their hands if they beat the Bucs today for the second time this season. That game at 4:30 this afternoon. Or if the Falcons win again, beating the New Orleans Saints tomorrow afternoon, then even still, if the Panthers lose today, just by all the tiebreakers, Carolina would still get in. Now, going into this game, head coach of the Panthers, Dave Canales, realizes all the different variables at play here. He has to get his team ready no matter what, and he shared that with the media earlier this week.
We're aware of all those scenarios, and it's a pretty simple path. We got to handle business in the game, and that's got to be our focus first and foremost. And a team that I really respect, and we just played a couple weeks ago. So we have to approach this thing like we didn't just play, and don't take anything for granted. Make sure we're on the details, and all the other scenarios will play out how they will. I was watching the game last night. I watch every game on Monday night, and in this one right here, it's got implications. But at the same time, the focus has to be there for us to be able to handle business.
All the chips are falling Carolina's way. Finally, it's like as a Panthers fan who's seen so many ups and downs of this franchise, and through the past 7 years, it feels like everything has tried to go against us. Now it feels like the time is ours. They can't screw this up, right? I think they can, sadly. It's so bad. The Atlanta Falcons have won 3 of the last 5 games against the Saints, including beating them 24-10 earlier this season. November 23rd was that game. So that goes for the Panthers. That's great. It's not. Baker Mayfield ended up on the Bucs injury report this week with a right shoulder issue and a knee concern. That's great for us. This is good news. Everything's falling our way. I don't think it's good. And the Bucs have actually lost 7 of their last 8 games. See, the problem here is, though, that whenever things have gone the Panthers' way, they seem to step on their own foot and find a way to screw it up. It's actually when their backs are pressed against a wall that this Panthers team defies all odds, and they come out like world beaters. They're going to screw it up. You see, examples already fall for us in this very season. They beat the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. Great win on the road. Then they lost the following week against the Saints at home. It was a rainstorm, torrential downpour, and they beat the NFC leading LA Rams at home. Then guess what? They lost the next week to the Saints on the road. And they've had Miami actually gave them a gift. They beat the Bucs last weekend. And all the Panthers had to do was take care of their own business, beat Seattle. The Seahawks had already made the trip from the West Coast all the way across country to play here in North Carolina. 1 p.m. game as well. So that's like 3 hours earlier, the Seahawks' time. And guess what? The Panthers blew it. They lost. They will find a way to screw this up somehow because it's in their DNA. And they're just not serious about it. And they won't be. I have had a up and down relationship with the Carolina Panthers. And I've learned to just expect disappointment, especially in a season like this, where, like I said, every time the chips have aligned for us to be successful, to take advantage, to have things go our way in a league like the NFL that requires sometimes just being in the right spots or having some luck go your direction, honestly. Even in the midst of all those things, what happens is disappointment, because we have to have everybody against us, it feels like, to overcome odds. And I think it's clearly seen directly with Bryce Young, quarterback of the Panthers. I've been very critical of Bryce over his career. But I also wanted to take this time this morning to share and admit, to have like an admission here of where I screwed up. You see, I said that Bryce shouldn't be a quarterback in the NFL. He's too small. He can't get out of his own way until things are against him, like I'm trying to explain here. But in many times, he's had interceptions thrown. He's more of just a game manager, not really a game winner. I messed up. I did screw up on Bryce, where I said that he shouldn't be a quarterback. I take it back. He should be a backup quarterback. That's fine. I'm good with that. But I'm sorry, he can't be the franchise guy. I don't care about the 12 career-winning drives, game-winning drives that Bryce has shown, and everybody always flocks to that. And they always say, okay, after he was benched, by Dave Canales. He's come out and been a changed man. See, the problem is exactly what he showed against the Seahawks. A perfect recipe for every NFL franchise going forward that plays Carolina to replicate immediately. If the Bucs don't do this today, then they don't deserve to be in the playoffs because it's right there on game film, right in front of them. Bryce can't push the ball down the field. And the Panthers end up playing like we're a team from the frozen tundra out of the Midwest, like we've never seen 21st century football before. It's all ground and pound. We don't know how to throw the ball. If we do throw the ball, it's no further than maybe 5 yards. Bryce averages 6.5 air yards per attempt, which ranks 32nd out of quarterbacks in the league. He attempted yards of 20 or more on a pass on just 7.9% of his throws. That's the 6th lowest rate in the league. For yards this season, he ranks 21st. It's just lazy. And now this franchise is locked in because Bryce bounces back and forth between the penthouse and the doghouse. 1 week, if the world and the chips are stacked against him, he comes out playing like Tom Brady. Vintage Brady years in New England. But when things are going the Panthers' way, it's not a good sign. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news because honestly, this afternoon, everybody wants to see Carolina take care of their own business, not have to rely on the Falcons tomorrow. I think it's going to come down to that, though. I think we're going to all be sitting there waiting. There's only one good sign if you really like stats, and that's the NFL simulator says that the Panthers have a 78% chance to make the playoffs. See, I still think that's bad. Positivity equals negativity for Panthers fans. More on the way here on Waking Up Proud on WSJS.
It's the thrill of tuning in to WSJS, where each broadcast is a fresh start. Every insightful discussion and witty banter fills you with anticipation for what's next. Whether you're in High Point, Greensboro, or Winston-Salem, we're your go-to for smart listening. Embrace fresh conversations. We keep the triad informed and entertained. Start smart listening with WSJS and WSJS.com.
Let's go.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
At Second Harvest Food Bank, they believe everyone deserves to eat. Too many families across Northwest North Carolina are struggling to keep food on their tables. With your help, Second Harvest Food Bank can change that. Together, they can make people's lives better and build food secure and healthy communities for all. Give today and become a meal maker, volunteer, host a food drive, or lend your voice and advocate. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina, Shore Fair Drive in Winston-Salem. Online at secondharvestnwnc.org.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
afternoons are evolving on WSJS. The next big thing starts here.
I said we're gonna have a party.
The blueprints are set and the sound is coming. Something big is almost on the air. A new voice is taking over your afternoon. Count it down. Stay tuned. We're building your next new habit. The wait ends soon. Keep it here on WSJS and WSJS.com for all the details.
We've got local eats, hot sports takes, and a whole lot of Triad and Carolina flavor.
I'll make it go boom. I got energy. Watch me fill up. I'll make it go boom.
Waking up Prowell. So chow down and cheer on with Stephen Beck on WSJS.
Stephen here with you on Waking Up Proud. Happy Saturday morning. All of this on WSJS, and you can stream it. Take us with you on the go at WSJS.com. Doesn't matter about all those different signals on that dial. It's just a lot easier to key it up online. But as we get set and ready for another great Saturday, we want to get you rolling this morning.
Give me what I want. Give me what I need.
Hot off the Prowl with Stephen Beck.
Your latest from around our state here in North Carolina, breaking, is that the NHL has come out and announced their 2027 Winter Classic. That will be played at Bristol Motor Speedway and will host the Nashville Predators. But guess who else is going to be in that game? Our hometown Carolina Hurricanes will be playing in that. After last night's Winter Classic game, the New York Rangers beat the Florida Panthers down in Miami 5-1. Wake Forest football also got a win last night in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That game was in Charlotte, and they played Mississippi State and beat them 43-29. That is the fourth time in Wake football history with 9 wins or more, and Jake Dickert and his family took the Mayo bath after the win. College football's transfer portal opened up yesterday. Some quarterbacks from local teams, a part of that. NC State quarterback C.J. Bailey announced that he's going to actually return for the Pack next year. So that's some really good news for NC State. Also good news for the Blue Devils that had come out. But Darian Mensah, their quarterback, will return after the Blue Devils also got a win in a bowl game, 42-39 against Arizona State. And this one's more tough for Tar Heel fans, but that's Greensboro native Bryce Baker, also a quarterback, is not going to return to Chapel Hill next year. And this last story is the one you don't like to hear. Out of North Carolina, flu cases continue to go on the rise. And the Department of Health and Human Services here in our state say that more than 3,200 people were admitted to hospitals in a single week for flu and COVID and RSV, all that nasty stuff. And the CDC now classifies our state, North Carolina, as a very high flu spread state. Last week, we shared how somebody had won an almost record Powerball. That was in Arkansas. I still don't know if they have come forward yet. They've remained anonymous, I believe. And I also had shared a story that this one was kind of cool because there was 9 teachers from North Carolina here that split Powerball winnings. And they did it as a team. They all put in like 30 cents or something like that to get a ticket. Came out winning almost $8,000 after taxes for each of them. So all cool there. But now our lottery here in the state, there's some serious fraud going on. The North Carolina Education Lottery, despite record-setting sales, it now comes out that the share of money sent to public schools has actually dropped in a new state audit. In the year of 25, last year, that's new for me, only 16 cents of every dollar spent on lottery tickets and games went to public schools funding. despite having the higher gross revenue of sales, the percentages returning back to education for the past 3 years, according to this audit, has declined. And 2023, 23% of sales went back to the schools. In 24, it was 20%. And now last year in 2025, all the way down to 16%. All of this, I'm not a huge lotto expert, but as I understand it, when the lottery was created back 20 years ago now in 2005, state law then required that 35% of the lottery proceeds went back to public education. Now, if you're like me and you wondered, okay, where does all this money, when it goes back to the schools, what's it actually used for? It's the common sense things. The lottery funds school salaries, transportation costs, school construction, actually goes to college scholarships as well. And the state auditor, Dave Bolek, came out and said that with rising ticket sales, North Carolinians have a reasonable expectation that school funding should go on the rise too. I think that's only natural. But that's not what the audit that just came out says. After 2005 and years have gone on, here's where the dirty pool comes into play. It seems the legislature for the state changed that requirement. Remember, 2005, 35% of the proceeds got to go direct to the schools. Legislatures over time, though, changed that requirement and guideline, giving them more flexibility to allocate funds differently. Those, as a tax-paying citizen, and I know this isn't taxes, this is more direct from lottery, but as a tax-paying citizen, those words are the last ones, honestly, you want to hear. And this is generically speaking over any politician, in my opinion. Giving them more flexibility, not generally what you want to hear. You'd rather it be more black and white with politicians. As soon as gray gets mixed in, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to find a way to screw it up, sadly. So this is big for people that work in schools, that their kids go to schools, because again, like I said, not all funding for the schools comes direct from the lottery, but at that time in 2005, you're getting close to half of what we're selling out of the state, and lottery sales have only gone up. It's much like the gambling apps in sports that I like to look at and take part in from time to time. Those are going bonkers right now. Lots of success in this stuff. And you would expect, okay, great for my kids that are in public schools, because now the improvements that we need will be made. Teacher salaries can get better. I know that my kid aspires to go to college. Maybe they can get a really good scholarship from something like this. Doesn't seem that way. Seems like now that there's that gray room that the legislature allows, that they've only taken more of that money and distributed it elsewhere as opposed to what it was originally designated to. So one thing I would say is we need to stop calling it the North Carolina Education Lottery as opposed to just like, hey, this is a lottery. What is also completely outside of the box from the rest of this fraud that we're now seeing from this audit? I know without a doubt, the people actually playing the lottery couldn't care less. They couldn't give a hoot. They just want to win. Doesn't matter where those scratch-off dollars go to. Just give me my money. We got more on the way, including next, a story you got to hear from a young man here in our own area named Trooper Wright. That's coming up here on the Waking Up Proud.
It's the thrill of every game, broadcast to the world on WSJS. Duke basketball, built on brotherhood, is ready for another March run. Experience the passion, the pride, the power that is Duke basketball. This afternoon, the Blue Devils and Florida State Seminoles meet in Tallahassee. Catch every moment on WSJS. Complete schedule at WSJS.com.
It goes from zero to brutal in just a whip. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
When you grill with Kingsford charcoal and add Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters, your special occasion becomes unforgettable. Wow. Made with 100% real spices, Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters can be added to any pre-lit charcoal to add a whole new, rich, full-bodied flavor and aroma to your spring grilling. So good. Look for Kingsford charcoal and Kingsford garlic, onion, and paprika flavor boosters for a mouth-watering flavor experience. Kingsford.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-791-1313. That's 800-791-1313.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Live, local, Carolina pride. It's Waking Up Proud with Stephen Beck.
Back now on Waking Up Proud, I am Steven with you here on WSJS. You can follow along with us on X at Stephen Beck PS and at Proud Sports. And throughout today, or really anytime, text us 336-347-9807, or you can reach us here with your comments at 336-777-1600. This is a story that as I followed it, I knew I had to share. And it is somebody that I think you got to meet.
Joining us now on Waking Up Proud, we have formerly for Moorhead High School out of Eden, but now will be taking his talents to play for Guilford College, also locally in Greensboro. Trooper Wright, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for giving your time here, especially wedged in around the holidays that we're taking parts in. I want to go back real quick because not everybody may know who Trooper Wright is and as much about your story. So I thought I would start by giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself. I know for me, I knew of your story a little bit and then saw your recent commitment with Guilford College and knew, man, this is a young man I've got to take time to learn more about and also introduce to others. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I guess the story really starts 2 Novembers ago, where I was in an ATV accident on November 11th in 2024, where I ended up losing my left arm from the elbow down. And from there, just a lot of months of rehab and figuring out how to play football again with one arm, but also how to figure out life with one hand and with one arm again. So it was definitely a very tough time, a lot of times of adversity and a lot of times of questioning yourself and a lot of times of doubt in who you are. But through that, I was able to rely on my family and God's strength and the foundation that I have built on him. That's ultimately what brought me back to football and helped me be able to play this season and then take my talents to college and play. And I started out as a running back this year. And after about 2 games, switched defense and started playing safety. Really enjoyed that and played pretty well there. That's actually recruited as Guilford College. So I'm not playing running back anymore unless they need me to do that. I'm a football player, I'll play whatever. But I am going there as a defensive back.
How long prior to your accident
Yes,
had you been playing football? Is this something that you've been doing as a young kid all the way up through this point of being recruited by Guilford College?
No, sir. I started playing football my freshman year. I was at a private school in Reesville, a Christian school called Community Baptist, and just played basketball. And then I saw some buzz on my social media about Moorhead football through Coach Train, who is now at Greensboro College. Hey, I'd like to go to Moorhead and not only play basketball, but play football too. So started playing there and really enjoyed it. Fell in love with it. It's definitely a sport like no other, and the camaraderie that it brings is very, very unique, and that's what I love most about it. But started playing there and fell in love with it and haven't looked back since. Once I started playing it and developed that passion for it, I knew I wanted to play it for as long as I possibly could. And really up until this year, I'd only played offense. I played receiver and quarterback and running back. But this year ended up moving to defense, and I actually love it a lot. I like it more than offense now, and that's what I ended up getting recruited as. So it all ended up playing out according to God's plan, and I'm super thankful.
You had mentioned God and your faith a couple of times, something I personally also share and admire about your story. How has that been something, given the difficulties I know of around your accident, that you could fall back on and try to draw from to continue this career, not only life, but also this career as a football player?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think my faith has played a role in every single aspect of my life, athletically and through my accident and who I am now. While chaos was going around, it was like a peace that I'd never felt before. It was the peace that surpasses all understanding, and I know that was God holding on to me. And so I know that God has held on to me since November 11th of a year ago. And I haven't really budged since then. I knew that this was all part of his plan, and that he was going to work it out for good. In a situation where it looks like there's only negatives, I knew that he would bring positives through it too. And that's what has kept me sane as a football player too. Just knowing that, there are going to be some low lights and there are going to be some tough moments, but if I have my foundation built on him, I could get through whatever.
I got to know about your transition from running back, where you're getting hit and you're taking, tough hits. Now you're playing safety, where honestly, part of your job is to come downhill and lay the hits, moving from offense over to defense. So is that something that you're saying that you like better about that side of the ball, or how does that transition look for you?
Yes, sir. Definitely so. It's always better to be hitting rather than get hit. So I like that a lot more. And honestly, the transition wasn't that difficult. Me and my coach just spent a lot of times breaking down different stuff and trying new techniques, but making that transition from running back to safety really wasn't all that different. It still requires fast feet and being explosive. And so it's a pretty easy transition, and you can just kind of feel like you can rely on your athletic ability a lot at safety too. You can just go out and be an athlete and play off of instinct. And that's what I feel like was very, very comfortable for me to do.
Well, even in our limited time of sharing this discussion together, I can tell that you're somebody that people can naturally gravitate to. And I'm sure you have a local following and fan base that's pretty strong. So that's got to also feel pretty good to now have them and play close by at Guilford College to continue watching and following your career closely.
Yes, sir. Definitely so. I'm proud to be from Eden, and I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done for me and my family and the support that they've given me. So I'm very proud to be from here. And that was a big deal in my recruiting process. Was there were different schools who were further away that I could have gone to and played for, but being from Eden and knowing that Guilford is just 40 minutes away, I want every single person who has ever poured into me from Eden to be able to come and watch games. So that was very, very important for me. And Eden definitely holds very near and dear to my heart.
Now, this is another aside to all of this. If this story isn't awesome enough already, the other part is that you're one of the few, maybe the only high school football player in the local area that has signed an NIL deal to actually be partnered up with, I think, a clothing brand. Talk about that a little bit, because that's cool, man.
Yes, sir. It's definitely awesome. I know I'm the first from Rockingham County, and I think there's maybe a dozen out of North Carolina who have one, but it's definitely very, very special. You grow up and you wear different athletes across your chest, and they have, their name on there. So for me, it was always Steph Curry or Cam Newton or Luke Kuechly or Christian McCaffrey, and you have all of those. And then to be another guy where you walk around and you'll see people with your shirt on. It has your name and it has a picture of you. It's definitely very surreal. And it's hard to describe, honestly. It's like, I don't picture myself as like any different than anyone else. But definitely seeing, my name and a picture of me on somebody's shirt definitely means the world to me.
Well, it's props to your folks as well, because the name across emblazoned across a shirt, Trooper Wright, that's a cool name, man. It's killer. I'll give you
Yes,
that.
sir.
So, we appreciate you sharing your story with us, taking time to visit with us as well, Trooper. And we wish you all the best of luck coming up as you begin your career at Guilford College as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
That was Trooper Wright with us on Waking Up Proud. And man, I hope that you can tell that's a young man that's got a lot going in the right direction for him. You may have even missed it at the front. He had a tough accident that limited himself to just one arm and continued that career now at Guilford College. I'm going to have to go watch a game. We got more on the way. Waking Up Proud back after the break.
Happy New Year's from WSJS. New year, same WSJS. Our forecast is hot takes, cold facts, zero leftover fruitcake. Your gym membership may expire, but WSJS will keep showing up. Your resolution might fail by February, but our sports opinions won't, because we nailed ours. Stop doom scrolling. Start smart listening with WSJS and WSJS.com.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Life's hustle got you down? What if there was a place where passion and excitement collide, where the roar of the crazies fills the air and champions are forged? Welcome to Duke Basketball, where brotherhood is built and every game is an electrifying experience. From Cameron Indoor to the world, join John Shire and his Blue Devils in their thrilling march. Feel the rush. Live the legacy. Catch every game on WSJS, and the complete Duke basketball schedule is at WSJS.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools. I thought it was my stomach. People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
In a world that moves a million miles a second, Haagen-Dazs invites you to slow down and savor every delicious bite. Take it one almond at a time with a Haagen-Dazs vanilla milk chocolate almond bar. Madagascar vanilla, rich milk chocolate, and toasted California almonds make this unmatched icon legendary. Whatever Dazs you savor, a snack bar or your favorite flavor, say goodbye to the fast life and hello to savoring the finest ingredients and the richest and creamiest ice cream. That's Dazs, available at retailers nationwide.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The morning show that's always on the prowl.
I'm the king of the throne. You either winning or you longer, so we each to their own.
Waking Up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
It's Waking Up Proud on WSJS, and I am Stephen. Follow along with us throughout the show. on WSJS.com and streaming live on YouTube if you just search Proud Sports or follow my X page at Stephen Beck PS. You can watch the stream live this morning. It's time now for my unpopular opinion.
It's time now. Stephen's unpopular opinion.
This is one of those that I really hope it's not unpopular, but I feel that it is. Our society as a country, we've gotten soft. You see, America, we didn't invent a God, family, country mindset. America was actually organized around it. I feel like faith gave the moral groundings, family, you had the character and community aspect together, and country provided like a shared mission. And man, I couldn't have timed this better. Like last night, our Department of War making operations happen in Venezuela without any casualties, it seems, and operation was 100% successful. That is like, man, there's got to be pride in that as an American. But that whole balance, it shaped the United States from its earliest days, way back. But now, it's so sad to me. I feel like we're softening. We're moving away from it. Society has softened that stance out of fear that, man, somehow we're going to be offensive to someone. We're going to be controversial somehow. And recently, I sat down with High Point University president, Dr. Nito Cobain. And this God, family, country mindset or mission is emblazoned front and center across my alma mater.
Well, a common belief that you and I do share, and I am immensely proud that the university is emboldened by the way that it showcases this, is a God, family, country mission. Talk about that in a world that I feel it slid to soften that stance a little bit, to try to feel like it's accommodating people, but at the same time, it's getting away from those beliefs. But here at High Point, I'm proud to say it's still really emboldened and on the forefront of what we believe.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. You know, I pray that America does not lose its way. I pray that America will continue to believe in the fundamentals. And so my prayer always is that America does not lose its way. You know, it says in all the money that you have, in God we trust. Hype University understands that you have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. So our values here are God, family, country. Now, we're inclusive. We have people of all religions and perhaps no religions. I don't know. But we as an institution must profess who we are. And so we have a Merry Christmas on this campus. We have a nativity scene on this campus. People want me to take away the words Merry Christmas and just use Happy Holidays. We don't do that. We say Merry Christmas, but I'm happy to be inclusive and say, and Happy Holidays. But we're not going to take Jesus out of Christmas. If you do that, you really just gave up on the very belief system that you have that resides in your heart, that guides your life and living. So yes, at High Point, we adhere to those values, but there are more values, that come under that, like patriotism is very important to us. I believe people should put their hand on their heart when they do the national anthem. I believe that respect is very important. I believe that respecting your elders is important, but respecting everyone is important, because in God's eyes, we're all equal one to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jesus said, if you've done it to the least of your brothers and sisters, you've done it unto me. And I believe in integrity and character. When I hire people, I look for three things: intelligence, character, and energy. And if they have those three things, I pretty much can teach them, what the job requires. But if you don't have those three things, it's going to be very tough to have you survive in our environment. So that's why I believe, that parents commit malpractice when they invest 17 years of their life teaching their children and modeling for their children values that they believe in, and then they place their 17, 18-year-old in a university that is devoid of those beliefs, or worse, that can actually contradict some of those beliefs. It's called malpractice. And I tell parents that. I'm open about it. They don't have to come to Hype University. Thank God we have 20-some thousand applications every year for our freshman class. We're a thriving institution, as you know. We've grown enormously, as you know. But it's important that you carry forth that same tradition and that same journey with your child, lest they get off track, and then it's very difficult to bring them back.
It is interwoven in our country from the beginning. And for whatever reason, I felt that the slip started and almost can't be stopped. You see, many early settlers came seeking some type of religious freedom, not comfort at that time. And communities were organized around churches, and faith shaped their daily life, education, even the laws that we put in. And America's founders believed that liberty wasn't granted by kings or governments. That's where the Declaration of Independence famously states that the rights are endowed by their creator. And that just continued to flourish. Even as America industrialized, the idea remained. Faith anchored the soul, family anchored society, country anchored the identity that we have. So you heard it there perfect from somebody I couldn't say it better for. Dr. Quabain, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I don't know where we got so off track that even patriotism for our own country, like wearing red, white, and blue, or saying something like America being great, became controversial. But it did. We've got a lot more on the way here on Waking Up Proud this morning, including I'm going to stand up for Lane Kiffin. I feel like, man, he has taken it from all different angles the past day and a half or so after his former team, Ole Miss, won the Sugar Bowl and will be headed further into the college football playoffs. So we'll be getting into that further later. We're also going to answer some questions that we've had at our text line this week. And if you don't have that number programmed in your phone, do it now. Go ahead and put it in. Shoot us a message, 336-347-9807. You can text us there, or anytime you can call us at 336-777-1600. But we've had some questions about why players in college sports right now would ever decide to unionize. Remember, my plan or idea that I've put forth to solve some of the biggest collegiate sports problems with pay to play and the NIL and all the different things with professional athletes now returning back with eligibility in college was to have a union, was to have a collective bargaining agreement. So we're going to answer some questions there because we've had those. And also in the world of golf, Rory McIlroy is coming out more front and center again when it comes to LIV and the PGA Tour. When LIV broke off and all this started, Rory was the guy who was trying to defend the PGA Tour, going to war basically over why the tour would be a better option, and let's punish the ones that leave, all the different legalities and court fights that were starting to flame up. Well, now he's taken a pretty strong stance backwards. Last night, I caught some of TGL. I don't know if that's something that hits many TV sets. I think it's cool. basically, if you haven't seen TGL, it's a league that Tiger and Rory came up with where professional golfers are on teams. It's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of their opposition to what Liv was trying to do, that Tiger and Rory came up with around that same timing. Hey, Liv has the team aspect, and part of that is what some of these guys were wanting and desiring. Well, here's an option. Here's something that we can do. TGL, you're on a team with other pro players, but instead of being outside on an actual traditional 18-hole course, you're inside the SoFi Center in Florida, and these guys are playing essentially virtual golf with a huge simulator. I'm talking the screen is taller than most buildings, I'd say. And I think it's a cool concept. I don't know that, if it's up against other things that I'm interested in, like the NFL or college basketball, that I would choose TGL first, but I gave it a shot last night again. This is their second season, and Rory was playing, and I thought the Boston Commons team ended up with the win, putting a lot better than what I remember teams doing a season ago. But that's actually kind of the cool part if you haven't seen it. Instead of putting into a screen, there's an actual green that's inside of this building, and the green is on rotators where, depending on which direction they have hit their approach shots, the green will rotate and spin. So it's really, really in-depth, really cool product. But Rory is a part of beginning that. And he came out not only last night, but also the day prior in favor of bringing the defectors, the guys that left the PGA Tour, back and having a way for them to be a part again, just like Brooks Koepka we talked about last week. They asked him directly about Koepka last night because Brooks lives just, I think, like a couple blocks away from where they're playing this TGL in the SoFi Center. And they asked Rory at that time, hey, what do you think? Get him out here, because right now he's just sitting at home. He's out of Live for this season, and the PGA hasn't directly announced that he would like to get back to the tour yet. So he's kind of in limbo. And Rory stated that he feels like he could find a way for a 5-time major champion to be back playing with these other pros. And I think that speaks volumes because of where Rory was. And we were talking about a guy who could have gone and gotten the money. We're talking about a guy who was just like Justin Thomas, really outspoken and on the front end of these battles. He wasn't just another player on tour that was upset, disgruntled, thinks it's dumb. I mean, he has to be actually out there, competition committee style player. So if he's saying, let's give these guys a chance, I'll find a way for them. I'm telling you, that would be the way you smash that Live Golf League and forget about it if you're the PGA Tour. Second hour on the way here, Waking Up Proud. Stay with us. We got more on the way after the break.
Start your day with America in the Morning, your daily radio news magazine. I'm John Trout, and weekday mornings we'll bring you the top stories and latest breaking news from our correspondents around the country. You'll get sports highlights, a business update, the nation's weather, the Hollywood Minute, and much more. So join us right here.
America in the Morning, weekday mornings at 6 on News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
From coast to coast, you already know.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Ow! Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear about it? Talk about it. WSJS Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, Burlington. Online at WSJS.com. It's the thrill of the game, the roar of the crowd, the camaraderie of fellow fans. In these moments, we find connection, passion, and joy. And while the world may change, the love of the game endures. At WSJS, we bring you every snap, every play, every unforgettable moment from the NFL. Your front row seat to the playoffs and Super Bowl 60 is WSJS. Online at WSJS.com.
It's pure delight to sip your morning brew and soul-soothing to savor every drop. Thanks to Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters, where every small batch is roasted to order, crafting flavors that dance on your palate. From smooth everyday blends to bold single origin roast, each cup is a journey around the globe. fresh, flavorful, and fulfilling. Elevate your coffee experience at Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A higher quality coffee serving a higher calling. Available at fosterhobbs.com.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Waking up proud on WSJS. Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. The morning show that's always on the prowl.
Make way for the king.
This is Waking Up Prowl with Stephen Beck.
What's up and good morning to you. I am Steven, and this is Waking Up Proud on WSJS, streaming on YouTube at Proud Sports or on X at Stephen Beck PS. And our text line, if you'd like to shoot us a message, 336-347-9807. 9807 is WUP at a 0. We got a great hour on the way here this morning, and I wanted to start here. Do you remember this?
Nobody cares in football about that. We don't want Cinderellas. We want the best teams playing each other at the end. In fact, hot take. I mean, like the hottest of all takes that I've ever had in my entire life. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports.
That was Fox Sports commentator Joel Klatt a couple weeks ago. We don't want Cinderellas. We only want the big guys. Well, now after the quarterfinals in the college football playoff on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, we have Oregon, who's had 0 national titles. We have Indiana, who's had 0 national titles. We have Ole Miss, who's never been an outright champion. And we have the Miami Hurricanes, who last won in 2001, and that was before the college football playoff. That was back in the BCS days. So in 24 hours, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State all lose. We don't want these Cinderella people. But to this, there's 2 other underlying stories that we get. I have to start by saying kudos to Ole Miss. They played in the Sugar Bowl game, beat Georgia. Felt like Pete Golding, who is now the head coach of the Rebels, really didn't flinch at all. He's been the defensive coordinator under Lane Kiffin, but now takes over the head role, and I just feel like he was stone cold. Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback, there was a play, I want to say it was either late in the third quarter or it was earlier in the fourth quarter of this game, where he ran back to almost his 5-yard line, scrambling around and made magic happen, came back and completed a pass and made stuff work. I think he was like 13 passes in a row, 100% at one point in the second half. But with all of this, there's some underlying stories that we get around Ole Miss beating Georgia. Now we'll go on and play further in the college football playoff. And it starts around Lane Kiffin, a couple days out of the regular season games ending, made the announcement, hey guys, I'm out. I'm going to LSU. And during that time, drama ensued because it was clear that Ole Miss was going to be in the college football playoff, and Lane wanted to coach. Rightfully so, I think. The administration for Ole Miss said, nah, that ain't happening. We're moving on. But at the same time, the coaches I'm talking the other guys aside from Lane, like Charlie Weiss, offensive coordinator, Joe Cox, wide receivers coach, George McDonald, running backs coach, Kevin Smith, all these guys. They signed contracts to go with Lane to Baton Rouge. And so now they've had to kind of bounce back and forth between these two teams. Like, I'm trying to build a program with Lane over at LSU because the transfer portal, remember, opened up the same night that Ole Miss was winning this game in the college football playoff. And so while these coaches, the ones I just mentioned, Charlie Weiss, George McDonald, Joe Cox, Kevin Smith, they're coaching in that game, the place that they've signed a new contract with and the head man that they're following to an opposition in the SEC, he's trying to build a program over there. So they're getting tug of war. And stories have now emerged saying that it's unclear if these guys will continue doing this, where they bounce back and forth. Ole Miss for the games, LSU the rest of the week. I think that they are obligated by signing that contract, making their decisions to go with Lane to LSU. Tough on you if you're Ole Miss. I am, like I said, it was the best game of the weekend, it was during the week. It felt like a weekend around the new year. If you're like me, you didn't go anywhere. You sat, watched these games. Alabama's game, snoozer. Texas Tech, they had great defense, boring. Sugar Bowl game, all right, this is something I can get into. And I credit Ole Miss for making it happen because, honestly, everything that you would consider other than just the impassioned feelings of the players that stayed while their head coach left, everything else has kind of been difficult for them. Xavier Harris, who's a defensive tackle, after the game probably said it best. He said that Lane Kiffin was, again, trying to steal the spotlight. His departure from us in the middle of the college football run was a slap in the face. So, on the one hand, I would say if you're an assistant, you've signed a contract, goodbye. You got to go. Who's that leave for Ole Miss? Tough cookies. Time to rebuild. Time to figure it out. On the other hand, all of those that are dogging Lane Kiffin, because during the game, after it was over and after Lane had his nice little introduction at the LSU women's basketball game, he was tweeting a Trinidad flag in honor of his former quarterback. He was tweeting congratulatory messages to his former team. During all of this, he's getting dogged, man. I'm telling you, people are so bitter that Lane would do this again. Yours truly, I'm with Lane. I stand with him. I think he made a great decision. He cut tail and he ran out of there to the next opportunity. And people flood in and say, well, this is proof right here with Ole Miss's win. And they're going further to the semifinals in the college football playoff. Anybody nowadays can be successful. So, Lane, you can't use that as an excuse. Well, he can. You can win anywhere. And that includes at a place like LSU, where honestly there's more resources. LSU, they report roughly $65.5 million more revenue than Ole Miss. Their home venue, 38,000 seats larger than Ole Miss. They have 3 national titles in the modern era. Ole Miss, they formally don't recognize any. You want to keep being bitter at Lane, but before things get bitter, Lane gets out. In this day and age, where the resources investment-wise have completely skyrocketed, timetables, just ask James Franklin this, timetables have shrunk. You're on a short leash. So it's savvy, in my opinion, if you're Lane, you just get out of there before it gets too late. If anybody is a Seinfeld fan out there like me, there's an episode where George Costanza gets giddy about trying to make a dump kind of joke, like a good finishing comment, and then just getting out of there, getting out of Dodge. It's like ending on a high note everywhere he went. And that's exactly what Lane's doing in college football. You go back to 2009, coached the Tennessee Volunteers. One season, he gone, went back to USC. In 2017 and 19, FAU, he rebuilds his reputation. Well, guess what? He won 2 conference USA championships, and he said, man, I'm riding a high note. I'm out. All the way until when he was at Ole Miss. Been there for 5 years. He's got the program on the rise, right where it needs to be before things get rocky. See ya. My last hypothesis here is that maybe, just maybe, Lane, he likes building the vessel as opposed to like reaping the rewards and the benefits. As an entrepreneur myself, I can only come at it from that angle. I'm not a college football coach, just a fan. But as an entrepreneur, I've started businesses. And I have found that some of the best times of building up these businesses and brands and buildings and all the other things that go with growing a company is the building process itself. Of course, you want to reap the rewards financially. But while everybody else is dogging Mr. Kiffin, he's doing that too. He got paid $150,000 for Ole Miss making the college football playoff. $250,000, I should say, after they beat Tulane. Another $250,000 after Ole Miss beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So he's just sitting back earning money. But he's out, new opportunity, clean slate. I'm with Lane. More on the way on Waking Up Proud.
Afternoons are evolving on WSJS. The next big thing starts here. The blueprints are set and the sound is coming. Something big is almost on the air. A new voice is taking over your afternoon. Count it down. Stay tuned. We're building your next new habit. The wait ends soon. Keep it here on WSJS and WSJS.com for all the details.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, Jeffrey Griffin here. Christian and I are going to take a few days off during the holidays to be with our family and friends. We'll see you in 2026, but a lot of spectacular holiday programming coming your way. Weekday morning 7 to 10 during our regularly scheduled Triad Today. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you next year on Triad Today.
Hometown sports, local stories, and the tastiest talk around.
So yeah, just throw your hands. So throw your hands up.
Here's Stephen Beck on Waking Up Prowl.
Good Saturday morning. This is Waking Up Prowl here on WSJS. Blogs, podcasts, and more on our website at prowledsports.com. And throughout the week, text us on our new text line, 336-347-9807. That's where we actually receive some questions this week that we're going to be getting to later in the show. But right now, we got to get you set and ready for today.
Hot off the Prowl with Stephen Beck.
Last night, if you missed it, Wake Forest Demon Deacons get a win in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Jake Dickert brought his whole family up to get the bath of mayo after the win. But the Deacs win 43-29, and Charlotte beating Mississippi State and get 9 wins in a season for the 4th time in their football program history. And the portal for college football did open. Few NC State, Duke, and UNC quarterbacks have already announced their intent. Probably the biggest story there is CJ Bailey, NC State quarterback, is going to return. And that'll be his 3rd season for the Pack. And this day and age, that is extremely rare. This is not the story that you really want to hear coming out of the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. They say that more than 3,200 people were admitted to hospitals in a single week for flu, COVID, or RSV. And the flu cases have risen now to a point where the CDC classifies our state as a very high flu spread state now. And the last and really cool news is that our Carolina Hurricanes, if you're into hockey, are going to play in the 2027 NHL Winter Classic. That's the game where they try to play in some type of outdoor setting, and they've already announced for 2027 that game is going to be at Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee, and makes sense that Nashville is going to take on the Carolina Hurricanes in that game. Yesterday was the Winter Classic in the NHL, and the New York Rangers beat the Florida Panthers 5-1. We've got more North Carolina news that you may have missed in the mix of a lot of other bigger stories that we're going to share with you coming up shortly. But now that we are into 2026, new year, there's lots of hopes and dreams. Whenever you flip that calendar over, it's fresh, it's crisp, nothing on there, and you're like, man, this is going to be my year. What about the American dream, though? I found this really interesting. Is the American dream still attainable today? It's what you grow up hearing about. It's what I know people that move to this great country of ours, they aspire for, is the American dream. Well, achieving that American dream in modern day era now costs more than $5 million over a lifespan, according to Investopedia. The total lifetime price tag for $5 million is supposed funding 8 core goals that, in Investopedia's research, Americans associate with that dream. They surveyed roughly 1,300 U.S. adults and found out, like, hey, what is most important to you to attain as you are an adult, to have as you go forth and prosper? The first thing on that list, 86% of people said, is retiring comfortably. So we realize we work a long career, hopefully a long lifespan with that. I'd like to have a little bit left over in the end and go do what I want to do now, just hang out and enjoy. Also, 86% of people said that healthcare, quality healthcare, was important to them. Just under that, 85% owning a home. Got to have somewhere to lay the head at night. 78%, which I am surprised at this number, because a lot of people would have you believe right now that having kids and getting married, like, that's not really popular anymore. But according to these 1,300 adults, 78% believe that raising a family is part of their American dream. 72% say owning a new car. 71% wants to go on a vacation every year. And then the last two of these 8 pillars, if you want to call them that, is caring for pets and having a wedding. So if you take these 8 things that these people say are important to their American dream, then it's $5 million that you got to have of your lifespan to make it happen. I don't know that all of those are really necessary, though. So I wanted to go a step further. This kind of interests me. I am 37, close to what used to be over the hill, they would say. Getting closer to the middle of a lifespan. And here in America, I have aspirations of my own. I would like to desire things. But at the same time, there's some things that are needed. You got to survive out there. And the needed ones, I believe, are having a home to lay your head, pretty important. Being able to have health care, pretty important. The last one could be debated. Still think it is necessary. Some point, retire. I'm not necessarily one that sees myself retiring at a very young age, but yeah, I think at some point, everybody deserves to step away from the workforce and see that they can now relax, take a deep breath, maybe do what they want. So if you just take those 3 items, like the new car, you don't have to have a new car. You can get away with other modes of transportation if you had needed to. The kids, they're not a necessity. I love my daughters, and I would say in a heartbeat, make that decision if you're young and you're looking forward to starting your own personal dream. I think make them a part of that, but it's not necessary. Vacations, pets, weddings, you can go get married at the courthouse. It ain't gonna hurt anybody. Pets, got 2 dogs, love them to death. They're like my own kids, but you could get away without. So if you just take the needed items out of this, what's that cost? And can you attain that American dream? I don't know that I call it a dream. I more say it's a mode of just living and being in survival mode. But those things, retirement, having a home, healthcare, $3 million this day and age in order to do that. Tights are time. Or times are tight. I don't know what I just said. Either way, it's true. And there's grocery prices that starting in 2026 have spiked up higher. Overall, grocery inflation has come down, but the prices rose between 11 and 25% between 24 and 25. And that's just a small example. So with groceries and gas and everything, energy, doesn't matter what it is, going up, $3 million, that's what you got to have nowadays to reach the American dream. If that's not difficult enough for you, I'll cheer you up. More on the way here on Waking Up Proud.
The ball dropped, the clock struck. It's a new year, but WSJS remains your steadfast companion, a symphony of hot takes, cold facts, and lively debates. Your gym membership might fade, but WSJS keeps your mind sharp. From Winston-Salem to High Point to Greensboro, we deliver smart listening without the calories. Start the year right at WSJS and WSJS.com. Your resolution for smarter listening.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Excuse me, what did you say? Excuse me, what did you say?
One thing that jumped out to me, it didn't look as much jitters, it was mechanics, it was arm slot. I thought it was jarring to look at. I thought he was a bit overwhelmed.
Third is here. That's right, The Herd with me, Colin Coward, on WSJS. Join me weeknights, 6 till 9 p.m. Yes, I'm opinionated. I make you think, though, I hope, and react. 6 till 9, it's The Herd on WSJS.
Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. Waking Up Proud with Stephen Beck on WSJS.
Yes, sirree. Back now on Waking Up Proud. Stephen Beck here with you, and follow along with me at Stephen Beck PS. If you'd like to stream the show, you can do that there or on YouTube at Proud Sports. And I'll tell you this, we want to hear from you because we've already had those touch base with us this week with some great questions. The text line anytime, 336-347-9807, or if picking up the phone, just chatting with me is to your fancy, then do that too. 336-777-1600. Here now with a lot of other North Carolina news. You know, we do the hot off the prow with the greatest and latest, but I feel like there is so much that you could miss. So I'm here to share some of those stories right now you need to know that's happening around our state. And it starts in Chapel Hill, a story that almost certainly feels like it'll never go away. A longtime UNC professor criticized the situation around the head football coach of the Tar Heels, Bill Belichick, and his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. The professor sent an email to UNC athletic director Bubba Cunningham. And that professor is Christopher McLaughlin. He is in their School of Law. And his email was titled, "Please end this circus." He urged Bubba and the athletic department to stop what he views as disruptive situations that Belichick and his hiring has put the school in. And in the email, McLaughlin reportedly wrote to Cunningham saying, "When you agreed to pay a king's ransom to hire Bill, did you also know that you were hiring Jordan Hudson to serve as the primary face of UNC athletics?" Man, I can't wait for season 2 of The Real Housewives of Bill Belichick and what's happening in Chapel Hill. There's big plans out for Greensboro Parks locally. Parks officials have wrapped up year-end improvements and are still planning some major enhancements they announced this week for 2026. They plan to have new workout stations installed along walking trails. They plan to have expanded equipment for kids to use at their different parks and some disc golf courses coming out. So looking for folks to get outside and enjoy those. This is a good story because it leads to, so far, a happy ending. And I like those, especially after just sharing a few minutes ago with you that it costs $3 million to survive and $5 million to have an American dream. But a man here in North Carolina sought medical treatment because he was developing a painful wound on his arm that he believed was caused by a spider bite. You see, Bobby, not Bubba. Could have been Bubba, but it's Bobby. He was out on his tractor cutting a field, and he says at that point he probably got bit by something, and that became increasingly inflamed and started to concern him and his family. So they went and sought medical attention, which was smart. And during that, found that he had leukemia, which is never a good diagnosis. But had it gone undiagnosed, it wouldn't have been good for Bobby. According to the report, though, now doctors were able to treat Bobby. He's now in remission of that, just taking some daily pills, going to soon try to get a bone marrow transplant. But all of that happened after he was told he had just 15 days left to live. So he is headed in the right direction. And this last story, good news out of our state as well that you potentially could have missed amongst all the other happenings, comes from our coast of North Carolina. You see, out on the coast, it can be dangerous sometimes. And the Coast Guard had to spring into action this last week. They successfully rescued a family that were out at sea. Their boat began to sink off the coast of the Outer Banks, and they were about 65 miles offshore when all this started happening. So they issued a distress call as their situation got worse and worse, and the Coast Guard sent out to one of their crews in one of those big helicopters that you see coming out of Elizabeth City. The crew located the vessel, safely hoisted the entire family and their pets aboard the helicopter, and then all were transported safely back to shore. No serious injuries or anything like that. So, scary way to start the year for a man named Bobby, a family out at sea, but both ended up with happy endings there. And unfortunately for UNC and their main man, I don't know if it'll be a happy ending for Bill Belichick and Jordan. I recall pulling up the percentages. I'm going to try to do this now off Polymarket of whether or not Bill Belichick would get engaged in 2025. And I recall them being rather high, honestly, at the time. And Polymarket swung and missed on that. They don't have a new one out for 2026, sadly. However, for those clinging to the thought and the idea that just maybe they could still get out of Bill's contract, and the only way that that's going to happen is if he takes another job, Polymarket does say Bill Belichick 12% to be the next New York Giants head coach, for what it's worth. More coming up after the break with Dr. Nito Cobain, president of High Point University, plus some answers to your questions from our text line throughout the week. All of that coming up here on Waking Up Proud on WSJS.
It's the thrill of every game, broadcast to the world on WSJS. Duke basketball, built on brotherhood, is ready for another March run. Experience the passion, the pride, the power that is Duke basketball. This afternoon, the Blue Devils and Florida State Seminoles meet in Tallahassee. Catch every moment on WSJS. Complete schedule at WSJS.com.
The Twin City Thunderbirds bring you an electrifying night of hockey that your team will never forget.
Perfect for employee appreciation, team building, or celebrating milestones. This is entertainment that fits any group size.
Feel the adrenaline as the thunder rises and rivals fall. Make it a company outing like no other.
Like Frosty Fridays, all beer just $4. And all Saturday games enjoy $2 hot dogs.
Affordable, unforgettable, and just a click away at TwinCityThunderbirds.com.
Bring the storm. Let it thunder.
They work together like a well-oiled machine. Avalon Express Lube and Service, led by quarterback Mac Allen. His team of ASE-certified technicians tackle oil changes, tires, transmission work, brake repair, and inspections. And yes, there's a state-of-the-art car wash, too. Located on Highway 66 South in Cornersville, Avalon Express Lube and Service is a proud supporter of high school athletics in the Triad. For top-tier service, visit Haviland Express Lube and Service, where teamwork drives results.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, Jeffrey Griffin here. Christian and I are going to take a few days off during the holidays to be with our family and friends. We'll see you in 2026, but a lot of spectacular holiday programming coming your way. Weekday morning, 7 to 10 during our regularly scheduled Triad Today. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you next year on Triad Today.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar! La, 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 la.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-791-1313. That's 800-791-1313.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Grab your coffee. Join the conversation with Stephen Beck on WSJS.
I'm the king of the throne. You either winning or you losing, so we each to their own.
It's Waking Up Proud.
Stephen back with you on Waking Up Proud, WSJS.com, streaming there, and take us with you on the go. Big day for me today, because we start with Waking Up Proud here. Love it. Afterwards, couple things. if you've been following the story that happened overnight about our country, United States, our Department of War going into Venezuela, then I believe that our president, Donald Trump, will be making remarks on that just after this show finishes around 11, but also around that time, and more probably in the way that I'll be headed, NC State has a basketball game starting their tip at 11 as well in the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. So excited to watch that. Around 2 o'clock, sneaky good mid-major game out there for those that don't follow. For High Point, Panthers take on Longwood, a rivalry game there that I'll be at inside the Quabain Center in High Point. And then later today, 4:30, the Carolina Panthers are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that game is very important until you also realize that if the Panthers shoot themselves in the foot, which I believe they will do, and lose it, there's still hope. There's still opportunity for Carolina to make the playoffs, win the NFC South, and that goes with the Atlanta and Saints game that would be tomorrow. So lots of great things coming up on my schedule the rest of today. Before we get to some of that, plus answering some of your text questions that you've sent us at our text line, 336-347-9807 this week, one last piece of news from the Triad here. Again, a couple weeks back, I really appreciated the time that was given to me to sit down with High Point University President Nito Quabain. He is a visionary, a philanthropist, a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, businessman, author. So much can be said about his impact that he's had on our local area. And I appreciated the time sitting with him. And during that, I asked him, what are your thoughts on how we're looking here across the Triad? The same coverage area that we have here on WSJS with Waking Up Proud.
Because we reach a wide audience of just Triad-based people that do come and utilize the university in a lot of really awesome ways that I appreciate you opening up the doors to do that, like the Christmas drive-throughs and times where the community tickets, they can get to different sporting
and
events.
Veterans Day,
exactly.
And prayer breakfast and Thanksgiving luncheon and all of the volunteers, our students, all volunteer in the Triad in magical ways. But more importantly, we create economic impact. If you're almost $1 billion economic impact, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Absolutely. So you also have a good way of incorporating the community, to your point. Do you feel good about where the Triad is, High Point, directions that we could go into the future?
Absolutely. I think we're moving in the right direction. There's a reason why North Carolina is so popular for businesses to come here. It's a great place to live, a great place to raise a family. And there are opportunities galore here. In the city of High Point, magic is happening, maybe slowly for some people, but very much cumulatively. In the Triad, it's happening as well in all kinds of ways, in sports, in business, in industry, large industries moving here. So yes, I'm very proud of what we're doing. I'm co-chair of the Piedmont Triad Partnership, which works diligently and hard and focuses on bringing these companies here so we can create opportunities for our workforce.
So you have to feel good about that as we are now into a new year. And to his point, headed in a good direction, but I would have never believed $1 billion is the impact that High Point University makes throughout the Triad. So that's great economic success there for us. In the sports world, though, as I stated, my eyes and focus really set on a couple of things. And it starts with the Carolina Panthers today, because where we stand right now, around 10:50 on Saturday morning, is with the whole world of opportunity to make the playoffs, win the NFC South. Everything is falling our Panthers way. Right now, NFL Simulator says 78% chance for the Panthers to make the playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons, who, if we can't take care of business ourselves, they've got our back tomorrow. They play the Saints, and we can try to count on them winning that game. They've won 3 out of the last 5. So, hey, good. Got that going for us as well. Baker Mayfield, he's on the injury list for the game later today. I don't know that that's really that big of a deal, but it was listed as his throwing shoulder. So you got to at least consider that being something that is on our side. And his team coming into the game, they've lost 7 of the last 8, including to our Panthers just a couple of weeks ago. So it's like, hey, everything is going our direction in this. And speaking of Baker, who ended up on the injury report, he was asked about this rematch earlier this week.
Yeah, it just comes down to executing, doing your job the best way possibly you can. You know each other very well to begin with, being a division opponent, and then after that, you're not really having a bunch of wrinkles from time between games. Not very much. So can't change the game plan up a whole lot. Just got to go out there and execute it and adjust to what they did well, what we did well.
See, I don't really think it has a whole lot to do with Baker. I don't think it has a whole lot to do with the team that we're playing. I think it's all between the helmet of the Carolina Panthers. Because sad enough to say, the only time that they've really shown great success is when all the world is stacked against them. And for this game, as I've already highlighted here in a few different ways, everything is rolling our direction. And I don't want to be a pessimist. I'm just pointing out the facts and figures here. And there's one other fact that whatever game plan that Baker just spoke about that he can't really change and do a whole lot with because of the limited time between the two games. They just faced each other a couple of weeks ago. His defense, his head coach that is defensive-minded and Bowles, they better make an adjustment because the blueprint was set up perfect by the Seattle Seahawks. And if they don't do that, they don't deserve a chance at making the playoffs. The Panthers are operating with a game manager, a point guard of sorts at the quarterback position. They solely rely on the keep pounding mantra when, honestly, I don't know why. I think that's a lazy out. I do. Just because that is your war cry, keep pounding, doesn't mean that you can't learn and run an offensive scheme that can successfully push the ball down the field. The only time that the Panthers scored a touchdown against the Seahawks last weekend was on a 13-play drive. And that's honestly all they can do is piece these little things together because it's a dink and dunk if they're going to pass the ball, and any other time it's up to Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard to run the ball. And what did the Seahawks do? They stacked the box. They played more man because they're basically challenging Bryce Young to make a throw, to make something happen. But they stacked the box, and anything that was short of the sticks, immediate tackle. So if you're a team that can tackle, if you're the Bucs and you saw that happen, you should be replicating that today. My hope as a Panthers fan with a rocky history with this team, I'll be honest, my hope and desire is that Falcons will bail us out again. That's really what I think will happen. You ask me, I'd take the Bucs in today's game. I'll take the Falcons tomorrow, and the Panthers, just typical NFC South, somehow find a way to get into the playoffs. We had some questions throughout this week thrown at us on our text line. 336-347-9807 is a number that you should save in your phone and shoot us a message. Super easy to do that. Or anytime we're on the air here, you can call us up if that's better for you, 336-777-1600. But at that text line, responding to a story that I had spent a good amount of time on last Waking Up Proud. We had a question about professional players coming back to the quote-unquote college game. I shared at that time that calling it college anything is really more out of tradition than it really is reality at this point, because 4 years at a university, no longer a thing. They can stay there and get eligibility. If you're Diego Pavia for Vandy football, it feels like for 20 years. The players are now paid. So going to class and doing that research project, it's not really a thing anymore that exists. And all of that was really exacerbated by a player that was in NBA trades. It's not like he was overseas and never involved in our professional league. It's not like he was in a G League setting where, yeah, he skipped out on his last year of college eligibility, but he's still inevitably been playing in minor league basketball. Honestly, it's really about the same as college. It's mostly college players. No, we're talking about a guy that was a part of an NBA trade, came back, and now playing for the Baylor Bears. And the NCAA this week with their commissioner released a statement. I'm not going to bore you with it because honestly, it's a lot of drivel. And it didn't really say a whole lot other than maybe, if anything, they stated that they're not going to let a professional player that's actually been a part of an NBA game, a regular season game or playoff game, come back to college. They did say that, but it was just a lot of nonsense. So we had a question in our text line. Why would the players ever want to unionize? That was my idea as a way to try to combat this, was to get a collective bargaining agreement in here. Let's get actually some rules and regulations on the table, because right now there are none. It's a free-for-all. No one has control. The NCAA, they're waiting on Congress. That ain't going to go good. My thought, get a collective bargaining agreement. Players will unionize. They can go to work on different regulations and rules and thoughts, have something on the table with the NCAA if that is going to be the governing body moving forward. And we got something now. The question is, why would the players ever want to do that? They're already swimming in money and really they've got the upper hand. Well, I'll tell you why. Because at some point, these current players on rosters today and all the incoming high school players and other players from international leagues that are young and now trying to get into the game, they're going to realize that they're getting screwed if they don't do something. If I can go get an NBA caliber talent player and bring him back to my team, am I coming to watch you in your local high school game and considering you for my team? Nope. Am I worried about traveling abroad, countries away to find a needle in a haystack? No. If you're on my roster today and I can go out and get one of these guys that are bigger, better, faster, stronger than you, who's going to get more playing time? That person. So that's why they need to unionize and do it fast. It'd really help a guy like me that likes college sports. Hey, it's been fun today here on Waking Up Proud. We look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, anytime, ProudSports.com. We'll see you next Saturday.
Spartan Nation.
Swish! He hit it!
When blue and gold pride fills the air.
The jumper, it is good!
Mount Tabor